Hi, welcome to my studio. I'm Sarah, and it's about time I redesigned my winter-inspired character. Winter is very chilly and biting, but also quiet and beautiful, with the glittering frost on the grass and the windowsills, the chill of the air as you step outside. This character is a personification of winter, so both her design and personality are heavily influenced by my idea of the season. So to start off, name meanings are something I find very interesting, so of course I had to find a wintry name for this character. Ira is a Welsh name that means snow. The angles I drew her face in make it a little hard to tell, but she has a pretty narrow, pointy face with a button nose. I had a hard time sketching some of these, but I'm happy with the end result. Bear with me as I get through the ugly stage, at least in my opinion. For this sketch, at first, I thought I'd made the chin jut out too far, but since she's carrying a bunch of books, it makes sense that she would support them like that. Ira's main hobbies are reading and writing. Naturally, her favorite subject is English, and she takes studying very seriously. As a result, she strives to be a straight-A student and hates getting bad grades. I'm thinking she probably skipped a grade. She's the kind of person to read lots of commentaries and dig into the historical context when reading the Bible, really trying to glean everything she can. She's good at memorizing things, which helps to remember Bible verses or studying for school. To help her focus, she listens to a lot of classical music. Like with my Autumn character, this is technically a redesign, but I only drew her once years ago, and then briefly in an animatic a few months ago. The colors of this outfit will be a callback to that first drawing. Personality-wise, Ira's temperament is fairly quiet and reserved, although she is not shy. Like how winter can be very biting, she has a tendency to become cold and distant and easily snap at people. While she'll go to parties, she dislikes loud environments and has to step outside and take a breath a lot of the time. Ira's favorite colors are probably blue and purple. As for her favorite food, there aren't a ton of foods I personally associate with winter besides a bunch of Christmas dishes. There are those store-bought sugar cookies and your classic chocolate chip cookies, and anything with peppermint, of course. Ira's favorite drink is definitely hot chocolate. I like this pose with two of her favorite things, hot chocolate and reading a book. It took a few tries to get the proportions right, but the interesting thing is how her back and hips curve, not sitting straight against the wall. On another note, how do you hold a mug? I tend to support the handle with my pinky, but some people have both their pinky and ring finger under, or none at all. Ira's hair color is like a platinum blonde, which I don't quite get the color right with the markers, but I think the colored pencils later finish the job nicely. It's not a very common hair color, at least not naturally, although it can be, and Ira's is natural, but I think it's very pretty. Her skin tone is pretty pale, which the marker here is a bit dark, but again, the colored pencils will fix that. Her cheeks are somewhat flushed a lot. It shows more easily on her paler skin, especially in the cold. Ira's main aesthetic is academia, since she's very studious and loves books. Other aesthetics I associate with her are icecore and astrocore, which I'll touch on more later. Her clothing style is very much inspired by academia fashion, with turtlenecks and sweaters, skirts and dress pants, very crisp with lots of muted, neutral tones. On top of that, lots of cold weather, wintry clothing, such as boots, scarves, beanies, and thick, fluffy jackets. She loves all things fluffy, and so do I. The plaid on the skirt was interesting to draw, and I didn't pattern it exactly right, but it still gives the same look. It was fun to match the pattern to the form of the ruffles. Also, can I just say, rendering hair is probably my favorite thing, especially all the shiny highlights. Even more so now that I found a way I like to draw them, with this sort of H flow. I thought an interesting little detail would be that she has asthma, because I for one tend to have a hard time breathing in the cold. Another random fact about her is that she cannot keep a plant alive to save her life, fitting with all of the plants dying or being dormant in the winter cold. Ever since I did that clothing study video, which if you're interested in learning more about that, I recommend checking out that video. I broke down a lot of what I learned. Clothes have been a lot easier for me to draw correctly. I wonder what all those books are about. Her favorite genres are historical fiction and Regency era, so probably some of those and some Bible commentaries. On another note, thank you all so much for 150 subscribers. I started this channel back in May of last year, and it's definitely been an interesting and fun experience to share my art and connect with all of you. I've made about 20 or so videos now. I don't dislike my older videos, but I've improved in my editing and especially in my voiceovers, and my art. I found a better flow, and I'd like to think I sound more natural now than I used to. Something that would be really cool this year would be to hit 500 subscribers, which means I need to post at least somewhat regularly and put in the work needed to get that growth out of this. With that though, I need to personally spend less time on social media and spend more time focused on God and what He wants me to do with my time. This year I really want to focus on putting God at the center of everything in my life, even if that means getting rid of some things to make room for Him. I mean, Jesus gave His life for me, how can I not give up something for Him? Ira isn't super athletic, but she does enjoy ice skating in her free time. While she would prefer curling up by the fire and reading a book, she doesn't mind the cold. There's something about being outside in the snow, seeing your breath in the air, and snowflakes catching on your eyelashes. Besides English, one of Ira's favorite subjects is astronomy, studying all the stars and constellations, stargazing as she tries to identify the constellations and catch a glimpse of a shooting star. She is very much a night owl as a result. Something I've noticed myself doing a lot recently is just stopping and taking a moment to look up at the clear night sky and all of the stars. I'm so in awe of how big and vast the stars are, and God created them all, and He created me and cares about me despite how big the universe is. As Psalm 8:3-4 says, "When I look up at the night sky and see the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars you set in place, what are mere mortals that you should think about them, mere human beings that you should care for them?" I've been so amazed at God's power and majesty. Here I was able to lighten Ira's skin tone and add a bit of eyeshadow and color to her lips. I also hopefully made her hair more of the blonde color I was originally going for. While I use markers as my base and end up doing a fair bit of detail, I like to use colored pencils for the finer details and to achieve the colors the markers don't quite match. There's a certain shade of blue I wanted the sweater to be, and although it's close, it's not exact. But that's okay, I am in love with how the color scheme of this spread turned out. More see-through fabrics are a lot of fun to color. As far as hairstyles are concerned, Ira keeps it pretty simple. Every now and then she might curl her hair for something fancy, but she prefers to keep it neat and straight, maybe half up. Colored pencils also help me to make things darker and add highlights back in to add that needed value contrast of lights and darks. Something I've started to do is add little hatchy lines to the finished piece, more than just adding texture to the fabric. I found an artist on Instagram who uses a similar technique, and I first did it in her Draw This in Your Style challenge I entered. I've done it in several drawings recently. We'll see if I continue to implement that detail in my art. I've been doing a lot of Draw This in Your Styles for Instagram recently. If you want to see more of my art than what I include in my YouTube videos, be sure to check me out on there. I added a bunch of finishing details off camera to the spread, including some stickers and a bunch of little stars to fill the blank spaces. I'm super happy with how the spread turned out. Honestly, I think Ira is probably the OC of mine that I relate to the most, although not exactly. There's definitely some part of myself in all my OCs. With that, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of Ira in the comments, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Jesus loves you.